There are secrets, hidden locations, and missable bosses all over the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and it's my goal through this video to show you every single one that I've found so far so that you can enjoy this game to its fullest extent. I'm Bonfire, and let's get right to it. The entrance to the top right corner of the map can be frustrating to find if you don't know where it is, but it's actually hiding in plain sight. But before I show you where it is, you first need to go get the gesture, Oh Mother. To get this gesture, you need to head to the Bonnie Village, which can be accessed through the Morth Ruins. You'll find a crevasse or hole in the ground, head through that tunnel, and you will find yourself in Bonnie Village. Make your way to the north side of the village, where you will find a tree and a small headless statue. At the base of this statue, there is an item. Pick it up, and you now are the proud owner of the Oh Mother gesture. Now you need to head to the site of grace called Shadowkeep Back Gate. This is the site of grace right before you fight Commander Gaius. Once you load in, look to your right and you will see a room with a statue of Marika at the very end. Walk up to the statue and use the Oh Mother gesture. The statue will then move aside, granting you access to the hinterlands and everything that lies within. I already put together a video about how you can kill the crazy scary eyeball dudes that walk around and suck your soul out by parrying them, allowing you to then fight them. But I just wanted to do a quick update because it's been brought to my attention that you can also kill them using Destined Death. So you can parry them, which allows you to damage them, as well as using Destined Death. Enjoy fighting and killing the crazy scary eyeball dudes. There are quite a few remembrance bosses that are not only optional, but really easy to miss, and the Shadow Flower, Big Scary Flower Monster boss is one that I didn't actually find until I beat the DLC. To find this boss, first head to the Church District Site of Grace in the Shadow Keep. If you have not already drained the water, make your way through the dungeon, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, until you find a lever which is at the top of an elevator shaft. Now make your way back to that initial site of grace, take a left once you leave the doorway, and you will see an elevator to take you down to the now drained reservoir. Take an immediate right once you exit the elevator and run past the giant dead tree. You will enter a giant room with a fire knight that summons an infinite amount of fire zombies. You can either kill this fire knight or just run past them. Go up a very small set of stairs and take an immediate right, and you will see at the end of a hallway a big stone door. Open the door and head down the elevator. This will take you to a small tunnel with a gigantic chasm with a small wooden bridge to walk across. Across the bridge, you will find yourself in another couple rooms with some very cool items, as well as a site of grace right in front of the boss arena. You can now enjoy the Shadowtree Avatar boss fight at your own leisure with one of the coolest boss arenas and boss songs in the whole game. If I had a penny for every single time I looked across a body of water in Elden Ring and wondered, how do I get to that island out there? Well, I'd have at least 2 pennies. One of those pennies coming from the small island off the southwest coast of the map. To get to this island, you need to head to the Cerulean Coast Site of Grace and then head due west. You will also find another site of grace called the Cerulean Coast West, which you can start from, or just start from the aforementioned Cerulean Coast Site of Grace. Once you've made your way all the way to the southwest corner of this area, you will see a small ledge. Jump off the ledge onto a small outcropping below you. Once you've turned around, you will see a hole in the ground. Jump down the hole, and once you've made your way to the bottom of the cave, you will see 2 pathways. Take the western leading pathway and be careful because you will be ambushed by a giant lobster boy, but once you have dealt with the lobster or run past, you will find yourself on the small island. On this island, you will find a very cool item, as well as a couple different crab boys and a mausoleum holding a boss fight, great set of armor, and really, really cool weapons. This might sound like a joke when I say it, or you might relate all too well to me when I say that the hardest item to find in this game was the Rua map piece. This is the map fragment that reveals the top western quadrant of the map. And if you're anything like me, the reason it was so hard to find is because I followed the traditional logic of how to find these map pieces, which is just run straight to it. But that, in fact, could not have been more wrong. There is a very roundabout way to find it, and you actually have to start in a completely different area of the world. First, you're going to want to head to the Morth Ruins side of Grace, and then head directly north until you find yourself in a small body of water. Continue to run north, and you will find a long cave. When you're making your way through this cave, you can stop to fight enemies and pick up incantations, or just run straight through it. Once emerging from the cave, you can actually now open your map, mark on the map where the obelisk is, and run directly to it. Along the way, you will find a couple stone golems and sites of grace, so I would recommend stopping to fight them or just picking up the sites of grace so that you don't have to double back later. I know this isn't the biggest secret in the game, but this is something that I wish I knew way sooner, and I hope that this saves you time and frustration. Sometime along your journey, you will probably come across the Cathedral of Manus Mater. Now, this is a key area in the game because it has a great quest line which gives you tons of items and weapons and other cool things. But if you didn't know, there's also a remembrance boss underneath this cathedral. To access this boss fight, you have to progress the quest line a little bit. This requires you getting a whistle from the jabroni sitting in the chair, then heading to the various finger areas, blowing in the giant fingers, coming back, and eventually there will be no one sitting in the chair. Well, this dude's kind of creepy, so at first I was like, good, he's gone. But then I realized there was a button you can push. Once you push the button, the chair moves back and reveals a very long ladder. Go down the ladder and you will be greeted with a very, very eerie zone. Unfortunately, on first go, I didn't actually get to access the whistle in here because I was invaded and promptly got dumpstered by the NPC invader. I know, not real good, but it happened. So, if you die at this part of the quest line, you will then have to progress a little bit further in order to go back down this ladder, because when you reload into the zone, the jabroni will be back in the chair. So keep going and blowing in all the whistles, and if you don't know how to get to the one in the top right, just scroll back earlier in this video and you can see how to access the hinterlands. But once you've progressed this quest line all the way to the end, he will then be gone, allowing you to push the button again, go down the ladder, fight the invader, and blow in the last whistle. This quest line was equal parts cool and creepy, and the boss fight was pretty much the same. Equal parts cool, equal parts creepy, and 100% fingers. Once beating the boss, it allows you to progress the quest line more, get a few new items. You can choose between getting a really, really cool spirit ash or one of the best new katanas in the game, but I'll let you all figure that out for yourself. This is just how to get to the big finger boss. Last but certainly not least, we have Saint Trina. Now, this is a NPC that you can access by getting to the Putrescent Knight boss fight first. To get to this boss fight, you have to go to the very, very southwest of the map on a giant peninsula and make your way down the fissure. Now you will find yourself in a big stone coffin zone, make your way through the zone, and eventually you will find the secret boss, hidden boss. I wouldn't call this secret, just hidden boss, the Putrescent Knight. This one took me a little bit to beat because the big frost AoE move it does was difficult to handle, but eventually I beat it and found that at the bottom of this hole was Saint Trina. I was extremely confused though because I went and talked to Saint Trina, and what happened? Well, I died. I am not super versed in the lore of Saint Trina, so I wasn't really sure what was going on. So I went back and talked to her again and died. I thought to myself, okay, this must just be some kind of sick joke Miyazaki is playing on all of us, telling us to go all the way to the bottom of this giant fissure, fight a boss that kind of reminded me of the Orphan of Cost, just a little bit easier, and then you just die over and over again. Well, my advice to you is do not stop. Go back to her over and over and over again. I believe it's 4 or 5 times that you need to go, just kind of kneel before her, and eventually you will trigger a cutscene where she talks to you. Do this a few more times, and then you will just get the same cutscene over and over again. Once you've triggered this cutscene, and if you have not beaten the DLC yet, head to the NPC Tolier, who is located at the Pillar Path Cross Site of Grace. After talking to Tolier, you will find out that he's been looking for St. Trina and tells you he's gonna take off and go find her. If you go back to St. Trina now, you will find Tolier being real emo, sitting there wondering why he can't hear her. You get the option to tell him, and he says, "You're a monster." He gets real mad at you and tells you, no, I'm the chosen one. I'm supposed to be able to hear her. Well, you need to continue through this chat dialogue, talk to him over and over again, and eventually he gets real mad at you. But even with that angsty edgelord aggression, he becomes a summonable NPC for the final boss of the DLC. If you're able to defeat said boss, head back to St. Trina, where you will find her, like pretty much every NPC in this game when you complete their quest line, just dead. Man, everyone in this game comes to a sad ending. Can't there be a happy ending for once? But anyways, you can pick up the item and you now have a little flower headpiece. Well, hopefully you found those helpful and informative, and if there was anything else that you think should be on this list, be sure to put it in the comments so that I can make another video of more hidden and secret things in the shadow of the Erdtree later on. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a video. I'm always uploading tips, tricks, hidden items, secret locations, boss guides, Elden rants, and much, much more. You can go find any of those on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.